Hey there everybody and welcome back. For those of you looking to create your own mobile application completely free without code, you've come to the right place. I'm going to be walking you through how to do just that in today's video. Now over here on the right hand side I actually have a live preview. I'm screen mirroring my phone just to walk you through what one of these mobile apps could look like. Now this is an app that I created in a separate video, so I'm going to put a couple of links in the description to various video tutorials that I've made to show you different applications that you could create using this free tool Appgyver. Now, I get a lot of questions on this. So Appgyver, if you go to their website, you can check out their pricing page yourself. It says, at least at the time of filming this video, that this is a free service for indie developers making 10 million in revenue or less. It's an amazing resource. It has this really cool editor that allows you to drag and drop components and then generate an APK file which you can then upload to Google Play. I have a playlist on my channel, so feel free to check that out. I walk through all of it. The only costs that you're going to actually incur are going to be fees for Google Play and the Apple App Store just to create your developer account. Those are, as I'm understanding it, unavoidable fees. Now, before we get started, if you like the content of this video, feel free to like it, and don't forget to subscribe just so you can see all the different random content that I'm putting out regularly. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. Now, the advantage to this web preview application is really, there's more than one. So firstly, if you already have your own website and you just want to display that website within your application, this is a great way to do it. Maybe there are features on Appgyver that they don't have. You can then just go create a website elsewhere and then render that website in an application. And then lastly, if there are any components of Appgyver that are confusing, maybe setting up databases, things of that nature, then you can use this option to essentially just view a website elsewhere that has all of that done. So if you find a web editor that allows you to make a website without coding, you can use that website. People can access that website or your mobile app, which then renders the website. So let's go ahead and walk through this. Go ahead and head over to appgyver.com, create your free account, no credit card is required. And then we're just gonna, it'll land you in this dashboard. We're gonna click Create New. And then I'm gonna go back on my phone just so we are at the Appgyver preview page. Now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna name the app. So we're gonna call it Test Web Preview, although this should be the name of whatever you want your app to be. Now, typically I walk people through the Appgyver interface. I'm going to make this really quick to keep this a short and simple video. Over here are your components. Down here is the Learn How to Use Composer. Here is the logic for components. So if you select this, you can click this and add logic in. Maybe if you click this, you want it to take you to a page. You would drag it over and edit the logic here. You would need to save your changes for them to be set up in this viewer. You do have all of these options up here to edit data resources, launch, which views this app in your web browser. And then you have the settings for your components over here and your page layout, which is your tree. So if you want to flip these, you can do it down here or over here. Now, one thing to note, at the time of filming this video, this web preview element that we're going to be using is not supported to view in the launch section in your browser. So if we go to the test web preview and we click open, I actually will have this set up over here. So we'll just refresh this page and we'll open it. So you'll see this is the same on both sides. Now, this particular one is an older website or an older app that I have to delete. So we'll just close this and we'll reopen it. So you can click open in preview portal. You'll select the application and you'll see we have the same page. Difference is this is specifically rendering as a mobile application. So you'll see it looks the same. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just get started because this is a really quick process. So you're going to go to Component Market and you're going to type in HTML. And then currently, at least for me, this is the one on the right. So you're just going to click Install for the Web View component. Now, over time, if Appgyver changes how they have things set up, you can basically just look for wherever your installed components are, drag it over, and we now have this component here. Now, to add some a little bit more simplicity, we're going to delete that paragraph. And for the headline up here, I'm just going to change the text. So we're going to change this, and I'm just going to put something simple. This is Google. Now, if you want, you can change the layout. So we can put center. And that's how you would alter the text. And then we're going to click on the web preview itself. You'll see running app on a mobile device, which is why it's not going to show up on the web preview. So we're going to go over to properties in the URL. We'll just type in http://www.google.com. This would be the same for whatever website you're wanting to use. Now, I do want to let you know that I'm not quite sure of all of the different, if there are any limitations to this. So you'll see renders in web view. If this is set, the HTML content property is ignored. And then you can read more about this HTML preview. So you'll see if we click show in marketplace, it'll tell you a little bit about this here. So you can use it to display external website or other HTML content, complete with ability to run JavaScript. Now, I don't know if there are any limitations to this, but I do just want to let you know that I would recommend testing this before you try to roll out any kind of big release. So for this, we're just going to click save right now and just test it out. So you'll see over here on my phone, essentially this has already started to render Google, or at least the Google website as it stands right now. So this is a live preview. Now, a couple things you may notice is it seems to be cut off right here because we haven't specified dimensions, and this does not give users the ability to type in the actual web address. So we can't add that part as far as letting them type in different web addresses or websites, but you can create additional pages in Appgyver that all go to different websites, basically just recreating the steps we're doing here. Now, if you have questions on creating other pages, check out my other videos. I'll walk you through that. But the idea here is we're just going to walk you through this part. So we can go to find another website. So maybe a good option is to try to render Appgyver. Now, I want to walk you through how to use the forums real quick. So if you go to their forums or you view the docs for different pages, just search for whatever it is that you may have questions on. You type in search, you can search for whatever your questions are. I point a lot of people to the Appgyver forums when there are answers that I don't know, because there's a lot that I don't know. But I wanted to walk you through, so I found basically just a typical formula that you could grab and then apply this in Appgyver. Now, as discussed, this is a web preview, so this may look a little complicated, but just to show you, this is not going to load in the test preview in a website. And if you right-click and go to inspect and look at the developer tools, you'll see it's not rendering in a website here either. So this is just to show you that the web preview doesn't seem to work for the web preview component, at least at the time of filming this video. So I'm going to close this, but again, to access that, you just click Launch, Open Preview Portal, but it seems to only work on the preview application for the Android or iOS devices. At least I know it works on Android because that's what I'm using. So we're going to make a couple of changes here. First and foremost, let's copy this URL and let's replace google.com. And then let's go and we'll go to save and see if this renders over here. So you'll see it loads the Appgyver website that we were just on, and it lets you scroll. So the next thing, we're going to make a quick change. So we're going to go grab this formula. It is system vars with a capital V .dimensions.viewport.height. Now we're not going to use that for width. I noticed that it gave me a little bit of trouble when I was doing that. But if you click on the web preview and go to layout and go to width and height, we're going to scroll down to advanced, and then you have minimum width. So I'm just going to go over to percentage, mess around with this, make it whatever works best for you. I'm not quite sure what exactly you're looking for, and I don't know if what I'm doing is going to work for all device types. So I'm just going to do 100% for the minimum and maximum width, and then I'm going to do the formula for the height. So we'll just paste it in, submit, and I'm doing that for minimum and maximum. That might not necessarily be best practice, but it's just what I'm going to do. And then we'll click save, and you'll see that this loads over here, and we now have a scrollable page. Now you have a nav bar here, so if it doesn't look like it touches the bottom, that's the reason why. But you can see we have a scrollable page that lets you view the entire website. Now you'll see we also have this section up top where it says this is Google. We could just decide, you know what, we need to change this. So we'll just put this as Appgyver. We could click save. It'll update here. Now you do have your heading up top and then the text, so this is not going to be entirely full screen. but it's just to walk you through the general principle of it. So if you wanted to, you could delete this element here and click on Save and just essentially make this more full screen. And then if you want, you can adjust layouts and style for this component here. So if you click the component, you can look through the options to make sure if you wanted to, you could adjust top gap, bottom gap, and then anything else to make it more full screen. I honestly kind of like the gaps to an extent just because I think it gives you a little bit of a margin, so to speak, because this could be on tons of different device types. So it's at least worth considering. But the cool part about this is you can now load different things from within this web page. So if you send someone to this web page, they can navigate to other pages. It doesn't look like they're just stuck on one. Now it does look like it's rendering mobile versions of those pages, so make sure that you factor that in. But as it stands right now, if you wanted to, you could do HTML content as well, but this at least gives you the ability to pull up other websites within your mobile app. So maybe you just want to have your app as a mobile web page. This might be a viable option. So you could do some other edits on Appgyver, and then again, check out the links in the description if you want to actually publish this to Google Play. But Google Play, at least at the time of filming this, only has a one-time developer fee of around $25 or so. I think it is. So if that is the case, then you can just post your app on the Google Play Store just to grab traffic and bring people in. So that's really all that there is to it. Now, that walked you through the basics of creating a mobile preview application for a website. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment box below, and I'll see you all in the next video.